Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak with us. The ones the apostles, Elegant Milson, hopefully teach more 30. About the Chayaba. Amen. I'm getting straight right into it. So, this is Sirach. This is going to be a quick lesson about how the Lord, He only shows Israel. He only chose certain people, which He chose Israel. Out of all other nations, He chose Israel, which, if you don't already know, those are the so-called Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes. So, this is Sirach 36:1. Have mercy upon us, O Lord, power of all, and behold us. Speaking about, this is a prayer unto Israel, not for the other nations. Next verse. Verse 2, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Yeah, and all these other nations, which, includes Esau, so-called white man, Moab, the so-called Chinese, Ammon, the so-called Japanese, Ishmael, the so-called Arabs, the Hamites, or land of Ham, so-called Africans, and so on and so forth down the line. Anyone who isn't of Israel. Those are considered the other nations. Those are the other nations, the heathen nations. Of course, we got our people scattered amongst the whole earth. So you're going to see Israelites who might look like these other nations. Because what? They've been scattered among the four corners of the earth. So, yeah, next verse. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations and let them see thy power. Because what? Lord, He's going to rise first when, Yahushua comes back. All these other nations, are going to be put in fear, terrible fear. Behold, when they see Yahushua come back. Especially when, the Lord, He rises up a standard against our enemies. Then, that's when the heathen and Esau is going to be afraid. So next verse. As thou was sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. Yeah. Let me read that again. As thou was sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. So yeah, this great precept. But let me get to the point. And let them know thee as we have known thee. That there is no power but only thou, O Most High. Yeah, so, you see how all these other nations are so caught up with their idols, which is not given unto them to believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It's not even given unto the 2/3 of the nation of Israel to truly believe on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. But what point is, these other nations, they don't truly know the Lord. And how are these other nations going to know the Lord? When He comes back and once Yahushua sets up His kingdom and rulership. Once we have these other nations in slavery, and then, then they start to learn of we're really the Most High. Most High's, we're really our, heritage, the laws and commandments, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai commanded unto us. That's when the other nations will know the Most High. That's when, they're going to really consider when Yahushua comes back. So, yeah. So, yeah, going to Amos 3:2. Well, before that. Let me go to First Esdras 5 and 66. Wherefore, when the enemies of the tribe of Judah and Benjamin heard of it, me speaking about when the house of the Lord was builded, when Zerubbabel and Joshua, basically built the house. They came to know what that noise of the trumpet should mean, because people were celebrating when that happened. And they perceived that they that were of the captivity did build the temple unto the Lord power of Israel. So they went to Zerubbabel and Yahushai, or you can just say Joshua, because Joshua from the Hebrew is literally Yahushai, and it's translated. Joshua is translated into the Greek as Jesus, of course, but staying on point. And to the chief of the families, and said unto them, we will build together with you. For we likewise, as ye, do obey your Lord, and do sacrifice unto him from the days of as Bazareth, the king of the Assyrians who brought us hither. Yeah, so the other nations came onto Zerubbabel and Joshua, trying to get trying to get in that circle. But look at Zerubbabel and Joshua said. Then Zerubbabel and Joshua and the chief families of the Israel said unto them, it is not for us and you to build together an house unto the Lord our power. We ourselves alone will build unto the Lord Israel, according as Cyrus the king of the Persians hath commanded us. What? Because the Lord, he put the spirit on Cyrus so that they can build a house. So, because that's what the Lord wanted. So he put the spirit on Cyrus. Well, like it says in scriptures, the king's heart is given to the hand of the Lord, basically paraphrasing. So point is, that shows you that these other nations, it's not meant for these other nations to serve Yahweh Bashmiel Shai. It's not meant for them. It's not given unto them. They're not chosen. They're only going to start serving the Lord when Yahweh Shai's kingdom is established. So this Second Esdras chapter 6 and 56. As for the other people which also come of Adam. Well, actually, let me see if I want to start. Well, let me just continue. As for the other people which are also come of Adam, yes, because, you got many Edomites who like to say, oh, aren't we all from Adam? Aren't we all, one people? Which is completely false, but read it none. Thou hast said that they are nothing. So yeah, so all other people who come of Adam are likened unto nothing. What? Because the Lord, he only chose Israel. The Lord, he chose Israel out of all those other people who came of Adam. He didn't, just because, you come of Adam doesn't mean that you're chosen. That makes completely no sense. The Lord, he chose Israel out of, because what? Just like how, Isaac, when Isaac had Esau and Jacob, the Lord, he chose Jacob, which his name was later changed onto Israel. Same thing, how the Lord didn't choose all the other nations that came of Adam, only Israel. So that has said that they are nothing but be like unto spittle. Yeah, because the Lord looks at these other nations like unto spittle, like they're nothing. So, and what? Reading on, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever which have ever been reputed as nothing, begun to be lords over us and to devour us. Yeah, because as we went off, as a people, as Israel went off, that's when the Lord, he set our enemies above us, so we can become overtaken what we've been taken out in captivity. Because what? We went off. That's our judgment that we received. But reading on, but we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover are given into their hands. Yeah, showing you that Israel is the Lord's portion. That's his people. That's his chosen people. Those are the only ones who can truly love Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And being more specific, the elect of the nation of Israel. Because what? We know that the 2/3 are about to perish because they don't love the Lord. The 2/3 don't truly love the Lord right now. So, reading on, if the world will now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Yeah, this is Ezra speaking unto the Lord. He was inquiring. But what? Look, point is, if the world be made for our sakes, showing you that the world was made, this earth was made for Israel. For, the Lord, he made the earth for us, for the nation of Israel, not for these other nations so they can do their folly all day. Lord, he made it for us. First and foremost, for the elect of the nation of Israel. So going to Amos 3:2, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities. Yes, this was the Lord speaking unto Israel. If you look at the verse above, O children of Israel. But staying on point, yeah, the Lord, he only knows us out of that's why, as we went off, we quickly got judged for what we did. These heathen, they're out there doing whatever they want. But it seems like nothing's happening onto them. That's because the Lord, he's going to deal with them later. Right now, he's, right, like it says right here, therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities. Because the Lord, he's going to punish us. Then, once prophecy is fulfilled, the elect is waking up. That's when the Lord is going to start to judge these other nations. That's when Yahushua comes back. That's when all these other nations will be taken out of their rulership. Mainly Esau, because he's surely the one ruling the earth. So yeah, once Yahushua comes back, that's when these other nations will be punished. So Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. And Yahweh thy power hath chosen thee to be special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yeah, man, show you that what the Lord, he chose Israel to be that holy, special people unto him. Like it says, we're a peculiar people. Showing you that the Lord, he didn't choose these other nations. He chose only Israel. Like I said, you're going to have, just because, someone might look like another nation, that doesn't mean, you might have someone that might look like a Moabite or, an Edomite, but his skin is, it might be fairer or more, they might be light skin or, they might be, have a lack of melanin, but that doesn't mean automatically that they're other nations. You have to tell by the Spirit, because like it says, Deuteronomy 28:64, the Lord, he scattered Israel among all the other nations. We're scattered. So you're gonna have brothers. You're gonna have Israelites who look like the other nations. That's just one of the curses. But staying on point, the Lord, he only chose Israel. to be special people unto himself, not these other nations, the heathen. So yeah, man, I just wanted to bring that out. Didn't want to make it too long, but yeah, that's the point. And there's plenty more scriptures that I can bring out, but for this, so the video is not too long. I basically brought out all the proof you need. So yeah, Lord willing, brothers out there edified. Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Barakathum, Shalom.